as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. So we can be the best like you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shades. Letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, eyesight winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove.
Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, yes sir. What are you thinking there, Sean? Sean's on the other side of the table again. Where are you at, Sean? You're in the darkness over there.
I'm over here.
We survived, and we have been heard, ladies and gentlemen. We have been heard. Was we heard, Sean?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He's looking the other way because we got the cords ran. He's got a screen over there. Oh, we got a screen for y'all, too. See, this is what... See, now he sees what I see. We got something to show y'all tonight. We got something to show y'all tonight. Something revolutionary. Now, before we show y'all that, before we go to these degrees, we got to show you something else. Hold on, let me show you something. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is your warning right now. This is your warning to everything that may happen after this. And I don't even really think there's words for this, Sean. I don't think there's words for what this is. Do we have to describe what this is, Sean? Do you see the Buddy Kofoid glasses?
I didn't notice that, but I see it now.
This is the truth. The Catholic Church, and he apparently they're going to be back, Sean. They're going to be back. They're coming. But the fair warning to this episode is two things. For one, I am Anglo-Saxon appearing, Sean. This is true, right?
Who's that?
I'm Anglo-Saxon. That means I'm white. Okay? I'm from the Caucasus Mountains. And I have a feeling, Sean, that the content we're going to show you tonight, I make jokes, Sean. Do I not? I joke all the time. People laugh, right?
All the time.
Most of the time, people laugh. But some people don't. Some people cry. Someone referred to these as liberal tears. Although I think if you rewind time about 6 years ago, liberal tears wasn't even a thing. They don't even know what liberal. I'm just saying. But if you're tuning in for seriousness, if you're tuning in for eloquence, if you're turning into what a new person have to know before they continue this video, Sean? What would you throw? I'm not prude, am I? Sometimes I guess we could throw some sexual based content or comments out along the way. You know, I see a pretty girl, I make some jokes. You know, I mean,
right.
I mean, that's what it is. But it doesn't mean that I'm some pig, you know, or something like that. I'm not some pig. Oh, I'm not half this racing world. They don't even know what the racing world is. Oh, they don't even know. Oh, they don't even know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be watching a video. We want to watch this video, Sean, correct?
Yeah.
We want to watch this video. We kind of had a little bit of a preview of this video. I think it's potentially some of the best content, and it is, and we did say we're going to be live on election night, and I think videos like this are very important for people to see pre-election. I think this is this is some of the best pre-election content going on out there. Now, what am I talking about? Where there is a site or a channel out there on YouTube. I believe you want to pronounce this, Sean, as Jubilee.
Jubilee.
And you are of Asian descent, correct?
Correct.
What denomination? Because it's like, I believe like Asians are kind of like the churches. Which one are you? It all looks the same. You all believe in Jesus and all that, but which one are you? You know, I'm scared to ask this.
I'm half Thai.
Thai. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
I don't know. I don't classify myself as anyone special.
I know, but would you see Thai or Taiwan or whatever different as Japanese, different as Chinese, different as Korean?
No.
You see it all as the same?
Right.
Really?
I do anyway. I mean,
there's no real differences in the cultures between those different Asiatic descents?
I believe there are, but
not enough for you to notice.
Right.
Okay, it's good to know.
I mean, I've lived over here all my life, so
right.
I don't.
You have been to Taiwan though.
Thailand. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Well, see, that's how stupid I am. Most people probably are. Thailand, Taiwan, which one? My geographic understanding is so behind. I'm some redneck from the South that don't know shit, you know, so...
Right.
That's my point I'm making here. I want everybody to know how dumb I am. But anyways, the channel is Jubilee. 9.5 million subscribers. They got a lot of interesting content on here, but it is political season, and they have been hitting the paint hard, taking it to the inside. This is some of the other stuff I was telling you that they got on this channel, Sean. Look at that one right there. Fit versus fat. I can't make this up, Sean. This is what it says. It says fit versus fat. Do you see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Feminist versus men's rights. Capitalist versus communist. There's actual discussion on this. I slept with your boyfriend. This is interesting. Oh, my God. Former conservatives, former liberals. So people who flip-flopped sides. But... this one we are watching today, we're not watching one Democrat versus 25 Republicans. 30 Democrats versus 30 Republicans. We started watching this earlier, and I was like, Sean, we have to show this to people. This gets next level, does it not?
It does. I mean...
this is some of the most entertaining comment, and I had some comments along the way. We decided to, they say don't drink in live, but we're doing it tonight. Don't drink in live. But I think there's a time and place, and I think the time and place is a Friday night. I think the time and place is a Friday night after I had been heard all last night. I was heard, Sean.
Definitely.
They told me I was heard. And ain't nobody talking shit today because they scared of me now. Oh, they're scared. They were intimidated, Sean. The whole entire community is intimidated. They're like, oh, shit, he didn't back down from these tyrants, from these people.
Yeah, they probably don't know what to say.
They probably don't know what the hell to say. They don't know what to do. They're scared to death. They're scared to death that they could have just silenced them with bullying. Anyway, this is part one. I think we should just do the part two, Sean. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do
the one we started. Yeah. The one we started, Sean. So, once again, this is not your typical content. Not what you're typically used to watching. Where is Broke Joe? We will see. Jake Paul's video echoed it echoed exactly how I feel. Wait, is this in the what is going on? Jake Paul's comment. Jake Paul's in the show. What's going on here? Well, hold on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We already got somebody talking about Jake Paul in here. Jake Paul's video echoed exactly how I feel. My wife's dad is Thai. We just got back from Vietnam. Well, that's good. It's good to hear. You may want to pay attention to this because this is going to get good. So here's the video. That's Broke Joe's face. Oh, God, we're all over the place. Is this a sign, Sean? This is the wrong thing to do.
It's always the right thing to do.
It always is. This is our idea. We're having fun. We want to watch a video. So this is part two. Part one, we were thinking of playing part one, but I just noticed that part one is 2 hours, Sean. 2 hours, Sean.
Damn.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want to play part one. But they took 30 Let me see if I can get a image of this room here. So they took 30 Democrats and 30 Republicans pre-election. This was posted 5 days ago. And they put them in a building. Apparently this was for 10 hours, Sean, of filming.
Yeah. 10 hours is what they were saying.
10 hours of filming. And they just go at it on different topics. This is going to be more intricate. This first section, it looks like, this 2-hour part. They label the sections. How can the U.S. government strengthen our economy? Is systematic racism still an issue in the U.S.? I guess I'm attesting to that with my idioticness. What should America's stance be on the war in the Middle East? These are the topics in here. How can we solve the crisis at the border? What should the government's stance on trans issues be? Oh, God. Is there some segments we could actually watch here? I'm scared. How can Americans come to compromise on abortion? Oh, God, that one went forever. So there's only like 5 topics here. This one, a little bit different. Who would be a better president? Which party you think you would win? So this is more so, and it looks like they have a mock election at the end, Sean. So this could be good. Are we going to watch this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Against her will.
Restarted here. This is on Jubilee, Jubilee. 9 million subs. They've been doing some great stuff. Go follow them. We're going to watch and react as we go along here because I think this is good stuff.
Would you vote for someone held civilly liable if a woman's against her will? Raise your hand if yes.
Did he just say something about
Trump
vaginas?
is a nationalist. He's a horrible man, he's selfish, he's racist, and he wants to make money. And that is why he's a good man for the country.
Welcome back to our biggest middle ground.
What did you just say, Sean?
I think I missed it. I think we missed it when we first watched it.
What the heck? Hold on. What did he just say about Trump, our love child God?
Would you vote for someone held civilly liable if a woman's against her will? Raise your hand if yes.
Trump is a nationalist. He's a horrible man, he's selfish, he's racist, and he wants to make money. And that is why he's a good man for the country.
Welcome.
What the hell did he just say, Sean? He broke the code on these ninjas.
Back to our biggest middle ground ever. This is part 2. In part 1, we heard these two sides discuss the issues, and we even heard some middle ground solutions offered.
There are women who are forced to have babies that they did not want to make. That's what we're talking about.
Okay,
we're talking about the lives that are not here yet.
Hundreds of thousands of Jews used to live there, and now there's less than 50. And in a lot of states, 1 Jew left. So don't talk to me about apartheid. Arabs are allowed in Israel. No Jews are allowed in Gaza.
Tax cuts on the middle class.
I'd agree on that.
Hold on. Captions or no captions?
No captions.
No captions? Okay, that's the vote. I do whatever China says.
Going to hear the two sides discuss who they think should be president, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris.
Oh, my. It should be good, Sean.
The focus of this discussion is going to be a group discussion. The focus is, who do you think would be a better president, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
I think at the end of the day, we have to really look on race issues. I think when it comes to record, that Donald Trump has had a far better record when it comes to race issues, when it comes to HBCUs, when it comes to the First Step Act, when it comes to opportunity zones, and I think also when it comes on to school choice as well, because school choice creates competition within the school districts so that you can send your kid out of your district.
Now, a cool little part here, while they're talking along, they have these SAN facts. SAN is like a independent news network, supposed to be all about facts, non-biased news, all this stuff. I think it's a really good program. They'll mention it throughout this video. They will, anytime they're talking about a subject, they will glance these facts up onto the screen in the moment fact check situation. I've noticed these in their videos before. But he was just talking about schools and school choice. And it says school choice programs lets parents use tax dollars to send their children to schools outside their local public school, often through vouchers or special accounts. So basically, if you don't think your local or nearest school is the best for your kid, you can send them to another school, but it is through tax dollar funding. So he's explaining these things, and that's what these little fact checks at the bottom of the screen will be throughout this video. Let me see. Yeah. So that's all y'all need to know.
if their school is not good and is not teaching your kid. So I think at the end of the day, it's pretty stark when it comes to record. And I think Kamala Harris doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to when she was a DA in California and all the minorities she put in prison for minor drug offenses. So I really would like to ask you guys on this side, why do you think with that track record that Kamala Harris is a better option than Donald Trump?
School choice takes money
Oh, hell no. Look at that guy, Sean. You listen to people look like that? Hell no.
out of public school systems, which I know you guys don't like that. It's too woke for you. That's fine. But that's what's actually happening with school choice. Ask Betsy DeVos. I mean, Betsy DeVos. It was horrible. Donald Trump, I mean, we can go down the whole, twice impeached, convicted felon, blah, 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 blah. Coherent sentences. Kamala Harris does that. And she's not a narcissist.
Back to this guy's look, Sean, if those glasses were by Deathridge, I might listen to him, Sean. I might listen to him. I mean, I think it's the glasses that kills his sex appeal. Call Deathridge Opticians and he can hook you up with the Chaz Especial.
She doesn't think of just herself. She thinks of us.
I want to respond to him really quick because he listed a whole bunch of reasons that had nothing to do with race. Like, I'm talking about race right now and what Kamala Harris has done to help minorities in this country. I don't want to hear stuff about convicted felon. I don't want to hear stuff about twice impeached. I want to hear about...
Why is it that the left always does that, Sean, when real good points are being made in favor of Donald Trump, for instance? And I'm in the middle, I would call myself. I think you would even say I'm in the middle, for sure. Yeah. Why is it when these right-wingers are making valid points for Donald Trump and against Kamala or whoever the left-wing representation is, because they don't really care. At least, I will give this to the right. At least y'all have some kind of loyalty. Some people could see it as a very toxic loyalty, but at least y'all have loyalty to a representative, right?
Right.
Where it's like the people on the left, they have more, in a weird way, and I'll say this right now, and this is true, the left has just as much loyalty. These people, most of them, I will say, have just as much loyalty to Donald Trump as the MAGA Republicans have loyalty to Donald Trump. Because just as much as these right-wing people who are Donald Trump drunks on MAGA and Make America Great, all these people y'all talk about, just as much as they are loyal to Donald Trump and support, these left-wingers, Sean, are loyal to the hatred of Donald Trump in just as much of a way. Is that not fair to say? They are loyal to hating Donald Trump. So, and that's why I was trying to make a point, and honestly, just hit my mind. The left-wingers, they're not loyal to Kamala. You rewind media 8 months ago, they hated Kamala. They were talking shit on her. Right. Right. Even some people in the party were talking shit on her, but now they're so fucking drunk and loyal to the destruction of Donald Trump that they already flipped to Kamala instantly. They have, but my point here is like these unloyalists that are loyalists to the greater good, I guess. Why do they always switch to something like January 6th every single time that a right-winger makes a point? I don't get it. Why do they deflect? Why do they do that? He just went to sex offense and all this other stuff. What is it, Sean?
Because, I mean, they pick it apart and they view it how they view it, and they want to, what's the best word for it?
It's called deflection. There's a lot of reasons. They're defeated in the debate. They don't have any substance. So it's usually an option by those who don't really have much to say. So they go back to their base loyalist support of the destruction of Donald Trump and list all the bad things. Just like the MAGA drunk supporter of Donald Trump, anytime something goes wrong in defense to Donald Trump and he's beaten, they just reflect to the base level support of Donald.
It's just pointing fingers and putting the blame on.
It's very true.
Anybody else but their party.
Right. And I do think I think I stumbled onto something that nobody has talked about, because a lot of these people will call Donald Trump supporters, just like Joe Biden just did, garbage, right? They'll call MAGA, this new form of conservatism or Republican. These people who are extremely devoted and loyal to Donald Trump. I think it's a really good point, and maybe some ears here on this, on how these people are just as loyal to Donald Trump.
Right.
They just want to see him be destroyed. They're loyal to that idea. Just as much as they are loyal, just as much as the right-wingers are loyal to the support, they are loyal to the hate.
Yep.
And that is honestly, I think, partially what Trump enjoys and what makes him bigger and such a staple. And if he is this egotistical maniac that the left keeps saying that he is, y'all are fueling the other side of the fire.
Right. True.
Hypocrites. Once again, I say it all the time. Hypocrisy is the biggest problem in the world today. But anyways, let's continue.
Convicted felons. You brought up drug felons. Because do you actually know, my friend, how many people went to prison under Kamala Harris as a DA for drug offenses?
Yeah, but how many people were convicted? That's the problem. When you have
Do
a
you
criminal
know?
record,
I'm
you're
asking
convicted,
you.
it changes your
Do
life
you know?
significantly. I do know. I do know. It was 1,940 people that were convicted. And a minute amount of that went to prison, but it still doesn't matter. They're still on probation. They still have a record.
Her administration convicted 45 men, black men.
They went to prison. That's not that's not my statement I'm trying to say.
Can I ask you something as a black conservative? Your candidate says, I want to make America great again. You tell me when America was great, and then you tell me, would you go back to wherever it was great as a black American? And it's got to be before 2016, my friend, because that's when he was saying that.
I think America was great when everyone was benefiting from economic
No, not general, sir. I'm asking for a specific time. When was America great?
If you want to know when America was great, ask any immigrant who risked their lives to come here.
I really want to hear from
America is great.
I really want to hear from the black man on this, because the second part of my question is, would you go back to that time? When was America great?
America was great when everyone had equality and everyone was moving towards equality. That's when America was great.
What year was
That's
that,
when America
sir?
was great. After the Civil Rights Movement, that's when America was great and making progress in change.
So let's say the late 1960s, you're saying as a black man, you would transport yourself back to the 1960s.
No, I think America was great when economically.
You know what I think the point here that they're trying, or the man's trying to make, is when was America great? And the response is after the Civil Rights era. You know, I hear people say all the time, you've seen the posts, you know, they see the movies and the culture and the shift in today's society. You see these, sometimes I see them, and I remember this, the Remember the Titans. You know the movie Remember the Titans, that old football movie, or no? You don't remember it?
No.
No, okay. Different time period. But it was about a movie in the Civil Rights era, and I do think that what they're trying to say is that, or this man's trying to say, is that there was a time period there where everybody was sort of fighting together for equal opportunities. It wasn't leaning one way or one way the other heavily. It was kind of like everybody working towards a common goal, you know, instead of.
We're not that way anymore.
No, we're all about ideology, identity politics, even racially profiling on all edges of the situation. But regardless, let's continue.
Everyone was doing better. When we're making progress towards equality, that's when America was great. And
so the sum of the condition of America was when people had economic equality, and you think that was the 1960s?
No, I never said that was the 1960s. I said everything past that. I said everything past that. We've made so much progress from then.
In the 8 years that Donald Trump has been involved in politics, I've seen all the Make America Great hats and all the great T-shirts and all that great stuff. But I'm trying to figure out, as a, I think, intelligent black man, well, when would I go back?
So I do have an answer for you in this equation. Those years would be 2017 to 2021. Alice Johnson is free right now. And I know you want to pigeonhole me into a period. All right, you want to go to prior to...
I would say, Sean, I think we were less racially divided in the mid-2000s, early 2000s, the pre-Obama era.
Oh, definitely.
I do think that the pre-Obama era, even though Obama becoming president, being the first black president and everything like that was great, I do think it enhanced the visual split. The silent majority got even more silent and even more of a majority.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember growing up in the ghettos of Dallas, Texas, you know, slinging the N-word around with all my black and brown friends and going to work. I remember being mid-20s going to work in in a shop and we're all listening to the same music and talking to everybody like we're normal and just, today's world that would be called giving a pass, but no, we were in a culture that everybody was raised in that time period, that was the culture, and now it's been, I think ever since we've went from that time period to this time period, the culture has been split up through these identities. Yeah. And it's enhanced even more. But regardless, let's continue.
2016, let's look at the Reconstruction era when we had Black Americans as a whole that were finally free from the scourge of slavery because of what happened in the Civil War. They banded together to create something called the Republican Party, and the Democrats created something called the Ku Klux Klan to find and exterminate as many of those recently freed Black men as possible.
In a weird way, I don't know if I'm going on my own little rant here, guys, but I do find it a little disrespectful that people want to talk about from slavery to today and how far our people have come. And I think there's a big gap between the rulers and the regular class, Sean. Like, if you think back then when slavery was happening, I don't know why people act like every white person in even those time periods was like slave owners or whipmasters or something. It's like there were low-class white people in that era of life too, right? There had to be.
Right.
And they were probably doing the same exact jobs as slaves, if you think about it. And slaves were housed and had all these things. And I'm assuming that the low-class whites of that time period were doing the same style of jobs, but they had to pay to live somewhere. They probably had their own economical struggles in that time period as well. And I'm just saying, like, we always think, man, if the white man had, or some people should think this way, if the white man had so much control back here in this time period, how did it ever change? Well, low-class white people said, fuck this, and started fighting for what was right.
Right.
Started running for politics. The biggest problem with politicians in today is that politicians were people a part of the communities and ran for office to make changes within the society they live within. It wasn't monarchies and families and lineages like it is today. Regular people used to run for local, state, and federal office positions. And that's how changes were made, from the regular people in regular society. Not these disgusting, plantation owners or people who are part of that society, but the regular people within society made differences by running for office and getting into government, controlling regulation and making things happening. And on the Civil War, how many white people died to change all this shit, Sean?
Right.
I mean, yeah, white people died and white people lived and white people probably fought for it to stay that way and not stay that way. But once again, if you want to talk about like how bad that tribe is, or our tribe of the white man back there, you could go back to the olden days of natives and sacrificing, babies off the top of mountains and doing a human sacrifice and eating blood for, the blood gods and all this shit. I mean, there's all types of bad things throughout history. But I do think it's a little disrespectful, as being a white guy, personally, that all these changes that happened from this time period to today
were for the better.
No white people are getting any credit for being a part of that change, Sean.
Right.
What the fuck? Talk about not getting credit where it's due.
Fast forward then to the 1960s if you want to. We had Lyndon Baines Johnson, Democrat president of the United States, who said, I will have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And then he brought the Great Societies Act,
Guys, it's not working. It's not working.
And emphasized Margaret Sanger to exterminate as many of us as possible.
Chandler, it's not working. Let's move on.
I want to collectively, let's all bring it down for a second and just speak socially about what's
This guy came in at the right
since
time.
2015. I grew up Republican. My mother is literally on that side right there. And I do not remember it ever being like this. And the reason that it became like this, in my opinion, was because of Donald Trump, right? So we saw this insane racial divide. We saw the increase in Asian hate crimes. We saw the racist xenophobia. When we talk about illegal immigration from the last episode, we never talk about the white ones. We're only talking about the brown ones, right? So like, There's all of these social issues that have changed. Like, honestly, I am less attached to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump than I am to you. I'm going to interact with you far more often. And so why do we feel that, like, we can't just, like, I went to, and on the break, like, I went and got a coffee, and it was like chill, right? Like, that's how it should be. It used to be like that. I remember when it was like that. And the reason that it is so polarized and it's so toxic, and the reason that we're like cutting off family members and like blocking people on Instagram is because of Donald Trump, you guys.
Now, see, it's very interesting that he just said that, because I talked about an era just a minute ago pre-Obama, right? And I was saying the same kind of things about Obama, kind of spurring that off. Now, it shouldn't be that way, Sean. Now, it shouldn't be that way, that Obama did spur this hidden racism within society. But like I said, there was white people who fought for the good and white people who fought for the bad.
Right.
The white people who fought for the bad, and they're out there, didn't like seeing Obama. And then when Obama got his shot as being a black president or a white guilt vote, Sean, I'm sure you've heard the bad people say that.
Yeah.
It was a white guilt vote to get a black man in. When Obama didn't perform well, when the country experienced problems and issues throughout this presidency by Obama, that was kind of like the setup for the home run of Donald Trump. Does that make sense? I think if you don't have Obama, Donald Trump and his type of attitude and feeding on that doesn't actually happen.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It don't happen. So, I mean, yeah, I agree that Donald Trump has made it way more normal for that silent majority. And they're not all bad. They have their own opinions for their own life experiences. It's way more than just the Obama situation. You know, we could say this thing's set up for 100 fucking years, which is how emperors think. It's probably actually what's happening right now. But
it's just all coming to light.
Donald Trump poked the bear on that aggression, on that sadness, on that hidden, not necessarily anger. There's a couple words for it, but they're slipping my mind right now. We'll just push play because I feel like I could get in trouble. I got to be quiet, Sean. I got to be quiet. I'm gonna have the channel shut down by tomorrow.
It really wasn't like this, and I just need you to acknowledge, just acknowledge the change.
Respond to that. What happened with Donald Trump actually became an expression of what Republicans were feeling. For years, we've been taking the brunt of...
See? That's what I'm talking about, this hidden. The Obama eras, these eras, this is what I'm talking about. He invoked them to speak up.
A whole bunch of stuff. We've had Hillary Clinton call us a basket of deplorables. She
called the racist deplorables. Do you identify with who she called deplorables?
Wait, she called us basket of deplorables. I remember Julia Roberts got on the television. She said that Republicans are somewhere between reptiles and repugnant. We've been taking it, the name calling. You had Obama talk about those people with guns and whatever. We've been hearing all these things, getting peeps of these.
Right, so this is a good fact check right down here. President Obama said of working class voters in 2008, they get bitter. They cling to guns or religion or antipathy to people who aren't like them, or anti-immigrant sentiments or anti-trade sentiments as a way to explain their frustrations. I don't understand. But the worker class is very interesting. Remember me, I was just talking about all those years ago when all this was happening. The low class that was probably working in the slave era, who wasn't a slave but was still working these, that was there was a slave class back then, both black and white, whether you want to get paid in a whip or paid in a dollar, you know, and that slave class, in my opinion, still exists today. It's just getting paid. It's just getting paid in the dollar bill. You're still getting traded the same things as you did then. Place to live and barely getting by. Sounds like slavery to me.
Right.
Things behind the curtains. The difference between Donald Trump and those people is that Donald Trump says out loud what you guys, or not you guys, but what the Democrats have been saying in private. And what's happened is the Democrats has now been recorded and it's come out, all of their stuff. But both sides have been saying everything. And so finally, Republicans said enough. With the Tea Party came out, taxed enough already. We said no more. We got to stop this, man. And we just got, I get so frustrated about that.
We heard your son say he remembers a time when it just wasn't like this. Do you agree?
No, and the reason that I don't agree is
Come on.
wait, no. Well, in our
That's his mom, and I can't believe the mom and the son is talking like this.
home, everything was peaceful and copacetic. But what
It was. Emphasis on was copacetic, and then it changed. We never fought like this. Our family was.
You know what, Sean? This is very interesting. He's basically saying y'all were quiet all this time. Y'all never spoke up. Yep. And she's over here saying, no, we felt this way this whole time, and we finally blew up. Yep. How many people out there in your normal relationships every day are going by every day, biting your tongue? And then one day, finally, you blow up, and they're surprised. Yeah. And you got a list of things that you're pissed off about. We experience this in our everyday relationships all the time, do we not?
Yeah, we do.
Shit the other person's doing and things you don't like, and you just bite that tongue and you say, fuck it, we got to deal with them. We got to live with these Democrats. We got to deal with these liberals.
Or it could be the other way around, too.
Well, I'm just saying. Right. But eventually, one day, the other side blows up. He's shocked over here. When we were a kid, until Trump came along, until somebody came over here and told me that I should speak up for myself, and that invoked all that list to start pouring out. So that's kind of the answer. People want the answer of this right-wing society speaking up all of a sudden. They're this disconcerted side that feels devalued and underrepresented and mistreated for years, and they finally had enough of it. And Donald Trump was the straw on the camel's back of their silence, and he broke it.
Never this separate until Donald Trump. And that's my point, is that it wasn't always like this. Your party has changed.
Right.
And you guys keep letting it change. This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in. Y'all just like move with this like hive mindset where he says something and y'all are like, yes, sir. And I'm like, that's weird. It's weird of y'all. You don't push back on your politicians enough.
So
you let him change your mind.
I have to do the mommy thing and go like that.
Okay.
And the reason is because we never came to you and we never trashed the Democratic Party. We said, look, these people are saying these kind of things. We kept our mouths shut. But once Donald Trump came out and he said that the things that we all were thinking. When he came out and he said, this is a shithole country. This is happening here. People were thinking these things. And Donald Trump was just boorish enough to say what people were thinking.
And that's like when you go to speaker class, you go to any kind of influential class, that's rule number one, Sean. To be a speaker, you got to have the balls to say what people are thinking but are afraid to say. Yep. You think that this mom ever wanted to blow up on her son?
No.
In the calm era?
No.
Never did. Until somebody finally started saying what she was afraid to say. She probably didn't want her son to look at her in the way that he is today and sit across a room from her with a group of other people they've never met and take a side against her. That sounds like a fucking nightmare, Sean.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in that house.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare. No, but this household existed. This household exists every day right now.
Right.
There's a lot of people in y'all's personal relationships that this is y'all's house.
Yeah, true.
And Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a regular Joe average guy.
That's the problem.
So anyway.
Let's stop there. Let's hear a new voice on this side.
Yeah, I think what also perfectly highlights how disruptive the Republican Party has gone is the debates. We see Trump debating people, it always devolves into chaos. We saw the J.D. Vance and the Tim Walz debate. Even though I don't agree with J.D. Vance on a lot of things, they were able to have a productive comment. And the underlying factor is Trump. Because if Trump had been in the debate, it would have devolved into madness. And I feel like he's ruined debates, made them more contentious. He's made discussions between people more contentious because he sees it as a more personal standpoint rather than a political standpoint.
Okay, so this is the way I see things. Years ago, we didn't have this division. What we saw as Republicans starting in 2016 was Hillary Clinton pay for a foreign dossier to set President Trump up for Russia collusion. We went through $40 million of a special counsel.
Yeah, that is true, Sean. As much as these left-wingers want to bitch about peaceful transfer of power in January 6th, how long did we hear about this Russia collusion shit?
A long time.
Like almost the entire presidency of Trump.
Right. And it was false.
And it was false. It was a lie. So you're telling me that the Democrats silently saying it was rigged for 3 years was more impactful than what happened? You know, with the now, it is kind of sad though because Trump's still riding it, and you know he's trying to implement underlying prerequisites and thought processes of how this next election, if he loses, he's already setting up the foundation to cry wolf again. But I do think if he cries wolf again, a majority of people are not going to pay attention to it as much as on the heels of a pandemic where we couldn't go and all these other things that actually played a factor in 2020. It was not a normal election, Sean.
No.
I mean, we could barely go outside for a couple weeks. You know, I'm just saying there was a lot of factors back then that made people think it could be easily manipulated.
We have had 8 years of lawfare, including the current 700 years they're trying to get him to serve in prison. We've seen assassination attempts. Now, the biggest problem that I see is we've got
I want to see the fact check that this crazy old right-wing Karen just screamed. They want him to spend 700 years in prison? Says Trump will not face 700 years in prison. In his New York hush money case, he was convicted on 34 counts, each carrying up to 4 years, totaling 136 years. So, no, they don't want him to be in there for 700, Sean, even though Karen over here is exaggerating it. Or maybe we need another word for the right wings. Catherine's, this Catherine's over here, because there's a Catherine last night on the show, right? She was pretty Karen-esque.
Oh, yeah.
So the right wingers are going to be Catherines from now on. The left wingers are going to be Karens. So the Catherine here said 700 years, but it's still 136 years, Sean. I mean, you might as well just die. You know, it's basically saying go to prison and die. That's what that means. So whether it's 136 or in defense of Catherine here, even if it's 700 years or 136 years, it still means go to prison and die. I mean, there's no difference between 136 and 700. It's not like they're going to start drinking baby blood in the cell block.
Invisible fourth branch of bureaucracy that is unelected, that has more power than our elected officials. We've got a media that's lying to the American people on both sides, dividing us. And until we do our own research and we see what's going on for real, we're in big trouble. Donald Trump cannot be bought. Elon Musk can...
Lie. Unfortunately, lie. I'm glad they're laughing.
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. How are you going to buy a billionaire? He's already got the money. Think about the threat to this unelected bureaucracy when you've got people like Elon Musk, RFK, both Democrats, and Donald Trump, who was also a Democrat, coming together to say, you know what? We're going to take on Big Pharma. We're going to take on the military war complex, and we're going to put the American people first.
I just want to respond to the America First claim, because Donald Trump has never once put every single American first. It's only the Americans that he thinks deserve it, such as the upper class and white people, honestly. Because he's time and time again, the first statement he made whenever he ran for presidency in 2016 was, Mexico, they're not sending our best. And you're telling me that what he said was what you've all been thinking. That's already racist. That's already inherently racist. Mexico, I'm not saying you're all racist, but that is what that statement is. It's a racist generalization of Mexicans. So he's never stood for every people. He's not stood for trans people. All of you have constantly said that trans people are mental illnesses, that trans people, that it's just in their mind, that they don't actually feel this way. Like at the end of the day, I don't necessarily, I can be somebody who says that my party isn't completely right on all things, right? But I can confidently say that Kamala Harris over Donald Trump stands for more Americans than Donald Trump ever has.
If transgenderism is not a mental illness, then why is the suicide rate in the transgender community 40%, which is higher?
Sean, do I speak on this subject or do I just keep playing?
I keep.
Do I speak? You would keep playing the video.
Yeah.
Do you remember a movie? We'll just say this real quick, Sean. Do you remember a movie called Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
So there was a character in the movie called, what was it, Buffalo Bill, right? I believe. And if you don't remember it, it was a guy who would kidnap women. You remember this? He kidnapped women, threw them into a hole, dehydrated them, starved them, made them put on lotion. It puts the lotion on the skin. You remember the whole puts the lotion on the skin?
Yep, gotta keep that skin soft.
Yeah, and then he would kill these women, Sean. He would kill these women, and then he would skin the women and put their skin on his body and dress up to look like a woman, right? Put the lipstick on and everything.
Than Jews in Nazi Germany concentration camps.
Mental illness and mental disorders are two separate things.
So, my name is Ryan Leon.
First of all, that is just a crazy person, but I would say to normalize it means we would have less Buffalo Bills. I think that's an argument for transgenderism, actually. Because a guy like that who goes crazy probably was beat by his dad, rejected from society. Maybe he felt like he was a woman. But in that time period of that movie being made, he was rejected by society and he went crazy over it. So maybe, the trans movement is good. We saved ourselves from a few more extreme situations. Probably just need to refresh. But regardless, oh, wow, they did. They did. Wow.